Hello and welcome back to World Talks here on TVP World. I'm Diana Skaya. Chaos erupted earlier today during the latest hostage handover in Khan Yunis, southern Gaza, where 3 Israeli and 5 Thai hostages were transferred to the Red Cross. Now, the chaotic scenes, including hostages being escorted through a hostile mob by Hamas gunmen, led Israel to delay the release of 110 Palestinian prisoners, mainly terror convicts, who have now been released. The second phase of ceasefire talks is set to begin soon, with 82 hostages, not all of them alive, still held in Gaza, including 84-year-old Oded Lifshitz, a Polish-Israeli citizen who was kidnapped by Hamas on October 7, 2023, along with his wife, Yocheved Lifshitz, from Kibbutz near Oz. Yocheved was released after 20 days in captivity. Their son, Omri Lifshitz, joins me now in studio to provide more insight.
Hello.
Omri, welcome to the program. I'm so happy to have you here in Warsaw with us today. Last time we spoke, we were in Tel Aviv at Hostage Square on January 19, on the day that those 3 Israeli hostages, civilian girls, were brought back to Israel. Now, my first question to you, we saw what took place today. What was different, though, is that the first elderly civilian hostage was released. Gadi Moses, he was handed back to Israel. To my understanding, the IDF has the list that Hamas has provided, and your father's name was on that list.
There's no names.
There's no names?
No names, it's just numbers. There is 8 that the Hamas say that they are dead, and the rest are alive. But there's no name, so we don't know exactly which one of these 8 is dead by Hamas, that Hamas declared dead.
Because Hebrew media in Israel had shown a list of Israeli hostages that would be released in this phase. So tell me, what do you know? Has the IDF told you anything about the fate or the state that your father is currently in or maybe in? Is there any hope that he will be part of the ceasefire deal who would come back to Israel?
As much as we know from the army, as much as the Hana Katzir, which was with him in the same room, said that he was fighting and they took him out. And they took him out, we don't know where. They assume that perhaps his chances of surviving are slim, but we don't know it for sure. So for now, we're not sure what his condition, and we're waiting in this first phase of the deal to understand what his condition.
How does it usually work, though, Omri? The hostages that are released, the families, the hostage families, you're notified by Israel and the Israeli military on the day of, a day before, a week before. How does it work?
It was supposed to be announced to the families and then to the media, but the time before this one, it was released first onto Telegram, and now it was first to the families, and then we know they release the names and we understand which one is released, except the Thai people that were waiting until the moment they release, and then we know the 5 that were released.
Omri, your mother was released in the first phase of the deal in November 2023. Tell us some stories that she told you with her time in captivity. Did she see your father there? Were they held together? Were they separated? What are some of the stories that she shared?
No, they haven't been together at all. My father was trying to hold the safe room handle, and they shoot through the door. He was shot in the end, then they took him away. They put him outside if he was really in bad condition, and then they took my mother separately. She saw him. She was assuming he's not alive, but she didn't know. And they took her straight to the tunnels. And my father was later separately to for Jihad Islamic. He was treated in the end and put the same room.
So your father was taken by Palestinian Islamic Jihad?
Yeah.
Right, so the second group. But what are some of the stories that your mom told you about her time in captivity, about some of the things that she went through?
She was only 17 days. It's different. It was at the start it was okay, and then there was food problem. But she was sick because in her stomach, and that's the reason they released her. She was only 17 days. And we understand later it might get worse and worse because the ground patrol started, the ground troop, and then there was shortage of food.
Omri, let me ask you this. Do you feel that the Israeli government and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government has done enough since the first phase of that deal in November 2023 when your mom came out and to now? Why did it take so long, do you think? What can you honestly tell me about this?
My mother released in different, not in the first deal. It was different. She was released, and then in the 49 to 56 day, there was another deal. Then,
but since then, there's been more than a year of a gap. So my question to you is, has the Israeli government done enough, do you think?
I think not. I think there was supposed to be a deal in May, and they jeopardized it. I think we got the same deal that was in May, now in January. So, and we lost so many hostages alive, and we lost so many soldiers that died since then. And now. So
why was it jeopardized? Why do you think that the Israeli government
I think it's political. Basically, it's more politic and more inside of the government. And unfortunately, they managed to move this deal from May to July, and then it's jeopardized again, and then it was in January now. And so many lives were, and some of the deaths were probably not going to be able to find them, because as much as you bombed, as much as you lost of these hostages.
Has Netanyahu ever spoken to you, to the family members personally? I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I've seen the families try and protest outside the Kiryat in Tel Aviv, the military headquarters, and how do the families feel about
Netanyahu? I met Netanyahu once. My mother met him once, but it's the same. I don't want to meet him again. I'm trying to meet somebody more important that I feel is more important, like Trump or Witkoff that we met a few days ago.
You told me that you, when we spoke earlier, that you met Witkoff at the 80th Auschwitz commemorations here in Poland. Tell me about that. How was your attending of that?
We went the ceremony of the 80 years for the release of the Auschwitz and Birkenau. And we've been waiting out for our delegation to go out with the Minister of Education. And he was waiting also. So we managed to talk to him and told him what we want. All this. We were in a big delegation, like 5 or 6 people that came to talk to him. And it was amazing to talk to him, because he's a very important person for our hostage families to fight for the release. And he was part of Trump administration. And
your father is a Polish citizen as well. What about some of the Polish delegations or Polish organizations, or have you met the Polish president? I remember a while back, Alexander Danzig's son was in Poland. He was actually here October 7, 2024. He also had met the president. Anything you can tell us on that, about how they take this and their support or help? Alexander's
son Yuval was with us also in this Auschwitz, and yesterday and 2 days ago we met also the president here in the Hanukkah event, because it was delayed.
The Polish president, Andrzej Duda.
Yeah, and met him and talked to him a little bit, because it was part of a ceremony. But we met him, and it was really nice, important to meet him and talk to him a little bit and explain him why we are so pushing for the first phase to end and second phase of this deal to start, because that really afraid us if they jeopardize the second phase.
How do you, I mean, you're sitting in front of me and I see you still being so strong, Omri, knowing that your father has been in Gaza for over 470 days now. What keeps you going? Do you have this hope that your father will be released in the coming weeks in the third phase?
I hope he will release, but I'm also part of Osse's family struggling together. We got 82 more or something, 82 more to release. And we're fighting for them all to get back all of them. We're going to fight for the last one. So if my father will release, I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to replace. And
let me ask you one final question, because we're almost out of time. How do you feel, how do Israelis feel about this deal, handing back a significant higher number of Palestinian prisoners in return for a small number of Israeli hostages? How do you react to that?
It's part of that. It's not the first time in Gilad Shalit. It was thousands of Hamas were released, and now that's the price you need to pay.
Thank you so much, Omri Lifshitz. He's the son of Oded Lifshitz, still held up in the Gaza Strip, for being with us here.
Thank you.
On World Talks. And that's all for this edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm Diana Skaya. Thanks for watching.